The Rick and Bubba Show. We're back. Our number is 866-WE-BE-BIG. Look for the book today. The book is called High Tide, a story of football, free fall, and forgiveness. Bill Searcey, along with Kelly Whitman. And this is an incredible story. And I guess it was, how long ago was it, Bill, when you were here on the program?
3 years.
3 years ago, you came on and kind of told us.
Has it been that long?
Kind of a nutshell version of your life story. You played for the University of Alabama, and that was one of the a lot of folks. No matter where you listen to the show or watch it on Heartland, you know this is a university that has had a extremely powerful dynasty run going on in the past, and now again in current day. And what were the years you played for Alabama? When were you there?
I played for Alabama 76 through 80.
Okay, so you played for Bear Bryant.
I did.
And tell us a little bit. I mean, because some people are with the show for the first time. They didn't hear the last time you were on here, and they may not even know your story that's now been chronicled in book form, which is always good because even when you're giving your testimony, even when you're being interviewed about it, people go, he said something, I can't. Yeah. Now, when you get it in book form, you can go back, you can really study it, you can really get the details of what happened, but you have an incredible story.
Well, thank you, Rick, and I appreciate y'all having me back. It was 3 years ago. I was here actually this month. I might have been later, but anyway, 2010, I believe. And I just showed up here after being on the weight loss show. That's what we were talking about that day, and then we kind of just worked our way over into a testimony. So right after that, I was contacted by Kelly Whitman, who wrote the book with me. She's, by the way, a great author, lives up in Chicago, Illinois, and her and another lady contacted me and asked me if I would write a book. And, at first I was hesitant. I didn't know how I felt about it, and they finally persuaded me to put it down. So what we did was tried to put my testimony, my life story in a book. It's easy read. I think it's 174 pages. The reviews have been great so far on Amazon from everybody that's read it. And so it's been doing well, and it's available on Amazon. But the story, when I left Alabama, Rick, and like so many guys, I got involved in some pretty bad things at a very young age. I mean, literally, probably started drinking around 12 years old. That your buddies are sipping, stole a beer and sipping it, that kind of thing. Yeah. And and I continued on down the road in high school. I played in Savannah, Georgia for Benedictine Military School. I was All-American in high school and pretty highly recruited. And Coach Bryant came and got me out of Savannah, and I went to Alabama and played on 2 national championship teams. Wow. Never was the college player I should have been or could have been because of my off-the-field activities. I mean, I just spent too much time doing the wrong things. But anyway, I did play. I did start some at Alabama and had a chance to go on and play later in the USFL and then in the NFL. My activities off the field continued to get worse as time went on. I mean, it was steroids, and then it was more drinking, and then it was drugs, and then it was cocaine, and then it was whatever it took to go to sleep at night and get up the next day and perform whatever I had to do.
Which is the vicious cycle you end up getting up. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when you're young and you're in great shape and you're working out all the time, the toll it's taking on your body physically doesn't show. But the damage it's doing to you spiritually is something that I had no clue at that time what was going on. I finished playing in 1986 and went back home, had never finished my degree in college, didn't know what I was going to do. Started working in a bar of all places.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Good choice there. That started a long list of good choices. And had some trouble before getting out of football. Had some legal troubles, because of drinking and drugs, and finally got out of playing ball and went home and worked in a bar and got in some more legal troubles and got involved with some people in the drug business and became one of those guys driving up and down I-95, going down to Miami and coming back up north from there. Basically had to leave where I was because I owed somebody some money and woke up with a pistol in my mouth one morning. Came to Birmingham and with the girl that I eventually married, Karen Searcey, Karen Baldus at the time. And went to my first rehab, I think, in 1989, somewhere around there, here in Birmingham. Then went back in 1990 again to rehab, and finally in 90 stopped doing all the things I was doing. Got a great job in the real estate business. Started working with a mutual friend of ours, Rich Wingo, and some other guys and got married, had a son, and had a beautiful home out in Chelsea, and thought that life was just going to be great. From
you had overcome all this.
Thought I had overcome all that. Had no desire to do any of those things that I had been doing. There was something missing, though. There was still a void there. Yeah. For about 10 years, everything cruised right along, and became pretty successful in the business I was in. Everything was going well, and then, ironically enough, I had a medical problem. I had a kidney stone. About that same time, I was experiencing some other problems with. Now I know it was probably depression. I was in my 40s. I was starting to feel a little drug out and didn't want to do anything, and started losing interest. But like most of us, didn't go to the doctor, and so anyway, I ended up at the hospital with a kidney stone, and they give me some pain medicine. And as soon as that pain medicine hit, I remember thinking very consciously, man, this is the answer to my problems. I feel great, pain's gone, depression's gone, I'm on top of the world. And from that point forward, it was a downward spiral. I became addicted to pain medication, and eventually in 2004, the wheels came off. I lost my job, lost my family, filed bankruptcy, had pawned everything of any value in our home for drugs, pawned my 2 national championship rings from Alabama for I think $600, and as is chronicled in the book, one of the things I remember most was the police picking me up at my house one night for breaking in my house after I was already divorced, and my son standing in the window crying, watching his daddy get drug off by the police.
Breaking in your own house.
Yeah, breaking.
What was it one time your house?
Yeah, it was my house one time. So, end up in jail, and then I end up homeless in Birmingham, living in a car for a while, living in some other places, homeless camps around Birmingham, and needless to say, things were bad, and really got to a point where I never tried to kill myself, but there was many days when I would fall asleep or pass out at night thinking, I really don't care about waking up. If I don't wake up, I'm gonna be good with it. I was tired, man. I was worn out. I was beat down, and didn't know. I didn't think there was a way out. I didn't see a way out. And then in 2006, my ex-wife Karen and my son Woody, who was 14, I think at the time, came to me. I was homeless and found me and said, "Look, we got a great place. We think if you'll go, I think this might be the answer to your problems." And I said, "Look, I'm tired. I can't do another rehab. I can't do another psychiatric ward. I'm done. I'm done. And my son said, "Daddy, I'm scared you're going to die." And I said, "Well, son, if I die, I'll see you in heaven." And he looked at me and said, "No, Daddy, you ain't going to heaven."
Wow.
So I ended up at Canaan land. I knew the word. I didn't know much about the Bible at the time, but I did know the word Canaan was in it, and that was why I was so resistant at the time of going. But anyway, I go to Canaan land, which is a fantastic place. It's really a Bible training center. It's not a rehab. It's a privately owned facility in Autaugerville, Alabama. A man named Brother Mac Gober founded it. He still runs it. Ex-outlaw biker. And my ex-wife said, this guy that runs this place just like you. Used to like to do the things you do, loves to fight, loves to scrap it up, I think y'all get along. You might listen to him. So I went. He put his arm around me the first day, and he said, "Son," he said, "let me tell you something." He said, "God loves you, and he ain't mad at you." And that was good news at the time, because I really didn't think first that I was lovable at all. And, I knew there was a God, but I didn't know if he loved me. From that point forward, I got into the program, and we did 3 Bible classes a day, 3 hours a day of Bible training. And I started learning some things and started hearing some things that really interested me, that they told me I didn't have to live like that anymore, that I wasn't put here to suffer like that. That I was special, that I had some special talent that God had given me, and that He wanted me to take that and run with it, And so I just started praying. I said, hey, I'm gonna try this Bible thing, man. Let's go with it. And what I got to lose. And as a matter of fact, the founder told me, he said, look, if you will get into this program for 1 year, he said, if your life doesn't change, if you're not a better person, and if you don't feel better and want to live, I will take you myself back to the first drug house that you want to go to. I'll give you the money, and you can go back and do what you used to do. And so
wow.
I finished the program in a year and stayed on as a counselor there. I started praying for some things and, started praying that first that I would redevelop relationships that had been destroyed, that I had destroyed. With my son, of course, and with my ex-wife, Karen. Those things have come to pass with friends, great friends that helped me along the way that I had totally alienated. Those things have come to pass and continue to do so, for a job, be able to pay my own bills, not to sleep in the streets anymore. And all those things have changed, for better.
Wow. Bill Searcey, in a nutshell, the story, but all the details chronicled in the book High Tide, a story of football, free fall, and forgiveness. And it is available Amazon, wherever books are sold. Grab it. You will benefit, as always, from someone else's story that may be a lot like yours. We'll be back more with Bill Searcey right after this.
Rick and Bubba.
Bill Searcey is with us. The book High Tide, a story of football, free fall, and forgiveness. If you missed the nutshell of his testimony, I hope you'll go back and listen to that. And because so many people, I know one of the greatest lies that are always told by the adversary was, it's too late, it's over, you're done, you're beyond redemption, beyond forgiveness, and Satan loves to tell you all the things you've done.
Right.
And I know in my own life, and I'm sure the same way with you, Bill, anytime I have an opportunity like you have now, it never fails. He attempts that again. What do you do? Won't you just shut up? You ain't got nothing to say.
Right.
You did this and you did that. But I know that Jesus is standing there as my Father in heaven looks through Jesus. He says, forgiven, done.
Right.
Right. It's not happening. But you said in the spiritual was what turned it around, that nothing else really worked. I try to tell people that all the time.
Yeah.
Until Christ changed my desires, I couldn't change them.
Until you have that heart change, nothing's going to change. I mean, we can change the outside, we can look good, but what's going on inside is not going to change. And it took me a long time and a lot of pain to realize that. And but I didn't die. I am alive. And that's why I'm so persistent, I guess, about telling people my story. It's not about me, really, and the book's not about me. It is about me, but it's about what God can do in anybody's life.
It's really about Him.
It's about God. It's about what He can do in your life and at any age. And, look, homeless on the streets when you're 40-something years old, there's not a ray of light coming through, but He can change that, and He can change anybody's life that quick.
Couple of things. First of all, I want you to tell the audience, we talked about in the break, about you mentioned in your testimony that when things got pretty bad the first round, you actually sold your national championship rings that you got playing for the University of Alabama.
Right.
But I see you with 2 national championship rings
Absolutely.
on. Tell the story about how you got those back.
Sure. When I left Canaan Land, when I finally left Canaan Land 3 years ago, a church that I had spoke at was kind enough to get together and go to the NCAA and the university, and they bought and had it remade, one of my national championship rings, so that I was presented with that as I was leaving Canaan Land.
That's awesome.
And then just recently, a few months ago, I was on another radio show down in Tuscaloosa, and I was driving home Birmingham, and the phone rings, and somebody I don't know, never met, says, "You don't know me? You're a friend of mine on Facebook," and he said, "I've got your other national championship ring." And I said, "I hope this isn't a joke." And he said, "No, my name is Mike Stevens." He said, "I live in Trussville, Alabama." He said, "I bought your ring at an auction 7 years ago. It's been sitting in my trophy room ever since." He goes, "I just realized that it's yours because I looked on the inside and your name is on it, and I just heard you on the radio."
So that's the original ring.
This is the original one.
Wow.
And he said, "I want you to have it back." And I said, "Well," I would love to have it back, but I mean, how much do you want for it? How much did you pay for it? And he said, "Oh, no. I want you to have it back. God has told me that it's your ring. You worked for it. It's yours. You come get it."
Wow.
I got there in a very short time, met his whole family, wonderful family, the Stevens family in Trussville. Love them to death. Hope they'll be my lifelong friends, but they replaced that ring. And once again, that's one of those superficial things that you want to get back when you come back from where I was.
Yeah, but there's a lot of symbolism in that.
But there's a lot of symbolism. Yeah, absolutely.
Bill, also just briefly, because I know we're about out of time, but I thought it was interesting in your book when you were detailing how when you were addicted to the pain pills, the links that you went to to get that. Just share a little bit of that, because that was amazing.
Well, you know, when
a lot of that going on right now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's all around us, guys. Let me just tell you something. And it's all ages, too, and all walks of life. You know, one of my greatest fears at that time was not having the pills to take, because it's such a horrible sickness, what they call dope sick. And it's just like a heroin addict or anybody else that's addicted to that. Very, very sick. So I would do whatever was necessary to make sure I had that medicine for the day. And I mean, if I couldn't put gas
more so than when you were than when you were younger and you were doing the cocaines, the alcohol.
Much more so.
This was more severe, isn't it?
This was way more severe.
Okay.
Way more severe. Because I couldn't do anything. If I didn't have it, I couldn't do anything.
Couldn't function.
I wanted to die. I just wanted to lay there and die. So, I mean, if it was eat something or pills, it's pills. I'd steal gas to put it in my car to get to the dope man, okay? And so how do you get money? Well, Bill, you don't work. How do you get money? Well, yeah, I mean, in the book it tells you that, I mean, I would go to stores and I would go in and grab a pair of sunglasses and put it in my pocket or something that I could get in my pockets and get out. And I'd go back into their – sometimes I'd go right back in. I'd just make a circle and go right back into customer service. Say, hey, I put a little scratch on the lens of the glass or whatever. Say, hey, my wife bought these for me yesterday, and they're messed up and they don't work. And can I just get return these and get a card and I'll use it in your store? Oh, yes, sir. $25 here, $30 like that there. And go straight to the pharmacy in those stores and, fill a prescription. Go to the hospital and fake some kind of a back pain or whatever to get the prescription. And so my whole day revolved around getting a prescription and then getting money to fill the prescription. And then the pills run out before the next day starts. So now the next day the cycle begins more. Well, yesterday you needed 10 of them. Now today you need 15, and the next day you need 30. And then the next day, you know what I mean? It's just a never-ending cycle. Vicious. Cycle.
But it seems to be with these pain meds, and you just said it has a more severe grip than even some of the other drugs of your youth.
Yeah. I mean, cocaine was bad.
Sure.
Alcohol was bad.
Yep.
But I think the pain medicine is worse. I mean, I think it's far worse. And that's why you see so many people. And, people have to take that medicine sometimes for legitimate reasons. I understand that.
Sure.
And they
just be very careful with
them. But they get addicted, very innocently get addicted and can't get off, And so that guy or girl who's taking it for legit reasons all of a sudden figures out, you know what, the pain's gone. I really don't need this anymore. And they try to stop, and they can't stop.
Well, I think you hit on a point, and I know we're running out of time now, that I don't think people should miss, though. The state you were in when you first got the pain pills.
Right.
The pain pills.
Right.
If you've already got this worked out spiritually, what's important, what's not, then that euphoria doesn't hit you the same way it does if you come in there thinking life is terrible.
Right.
I don't even want to know if I want to live anymore.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then you take it. Not only did it take care of the pain, like you said, well, this is what I need. I feel great.
Well, and you know this, Rick. The enemy always knows where the buttons they are to push. He knows, and he knew my weakness. Even though I had been clean for a lot of years, and that wasn't my intent at all, he knew that's how to get back to me, and so he got me back for that short period of time. And it was. It was horrible. But let me say this. Things have changed drastically since 2007, January the 7th, when I went to Canaan Land. And, living in Birmingham and Gardendale, have a great place to live. Just started working for a fantastic company, Dutch Lubricants out of Columbus, Mississippi. Working here in Birmingham, so everything's going good now.
Well, and a great relationship with your son and even, his mom.
With my ex-wife and my son, Woody and Karen Searcey.
All right, guys, it's available everywhere. High Tide, and you can grab this book. I know you'll benefit, and I bet if you're like me, you're thinking of people that could read it as well.